These greedy hold levels. Now, again, let's go back here and talk about these greedy hold levels. So these greedy hold levels, what they represent is the greediest point in the move, right? So we have, this is the entire piece of the move, and we can go to the weekly and we can see that's the 2 candle piece. So there's a strong hold level, which is the very top knife catch. And then there's other hold levels inside of that hold level that represent greedier points. So a greedier point meaning that it didn't knife catch straight off of it. It wasn't strong enough to do something like this where it hits it and just goes straight down. It wasn't a strong enough reaction, right? Like right here, you can see hit, and fall. It wasn't a strong enough reaction to cause a large bounce. Therefore, we are going after a greedier level. So the thing about greedier levels is they need to hold over time, because the strength in the move of hitting this weekly valley or this weekly hold level or whatever you want to call it, this strong hold level, the strength in that was meant to bounce the move and never come back and touch that level again, as if you hit it like this and then you kind of just continue to move in one direction, right? That's strength in a level. So that's why we call it a strong level. If that strength doesn't happen, it means the move is not prepared to continue going in that direction. So if we don't have that strong reaction point, it means that the move is kind of failing down and going after lower holds, which is going to have to try to hold through a trend. So a strong reaction point can simply, if you had a trend like this, and we'll use an actual trend line here. So if you had a trend like so, and that's our trend, a strong point would hit that and bounce straight through a trend. A greedy point would have to come down and it would have to hold through trend. So it would have to do something like this where it just kind of constantly holds and creates some kind of ladder, and then it can move through trend, right? So they have a different interaction with trend. It's not that, we sit there and we look for the greediest level, or we sit there and we look for the strongest level. The understanding of how these levels react is where the magic really exists. So we've marked a few greedy hold levels, and we're going to go back here and now take a look at the way in these reacted. So you do have your first greedy hold level. So this would have needed to hold over time. You are not going to see a large reaction up off of this level. Not like this, where you have this level for the first time, and within 45 minutes, you have 4% of a move, or even this one here, the second time it's tested, and then you have 5 or 6%, right? So, the second time the strong level gets out. This is very indicative of a strong level. This is exactly how they act. They have a moment where they bounce straight off, right? So that's the understanding that the level is strong enough to hold it up, and there's enough buying interest that will continue to push that move up. If that doesn't hold, you go after greedy levels. Now here's the thing that a greedy level is going to do. It is going to have to start to create some type of uptrend ladder like this over time to break through whatever trend you have all the way out here and create kind of this trend like so, right? It's going to just create its own little local trend like this. It is going to use its own ladder to eventually break over top of trend. It probably falls down and then spikes up like that. Something like this. But the point being is that this is not going to have this ridiculous reaction like a strong level would be. So once you are past that threshold of understanding, okay, this red line is the strong level. So I know that I can play this as a very quick scalp or maybe a swing trade, and maybe not a position trade. A position trade is more of these greedy levels. So that's the power in these understandings of these greedy and strong hold levels. The strong hold level, you know that the reaction is instant. And if it's not instant like this, or this, I would consider this instant too. If it's not kind of this instant reaction like this, you know that it's failing, right? So you know that it's failing down. And the same goes for this, and we can even go to a 1 minute chart here. And the same goes for this level here. You notice how it doesn't have that same reaction. Rather, the level gets hit and it tries to just create its own ladder. So right here, the level gets hit, and then it tries to come up and ladder off of its move, and it simply just falls down to its next level. And it tries to do the same thing here, and tries to create a ladder, and it simply falls down to the next piece of its move. And do we have another one below? Okay, let's see how this one reacts. Notice how there's no instant reaction on this level. There is no, we just hit this level and we're going to bounce off because we're going crazy, right? Maybe we need to move this to like a 5 minute candle. This might take a while. And we can go to a 1 minute candle here. You can see just a little bounce there and then straight off of a cliff, right? Because that was kind of the thing, right? Like it's a little bounce off and straight off of a cliff, right? And then, you have this big move down and this big move up, and et cetera, et cetera. You had all the makings of the next pieces of these moves and so forth and so forth with Bitcoin and how it reacted. We all know the great big dump that happened there. but you can see the visual difference. So you can see the visual fidelity of these moves and how they differ from each other, right? As to where you have one that is a strong reaction. You are not going to have that strong reaction on these greedy levels. Rather, these greedy levels are going to need to hold over time in order to continue moving up, right? What would be another good one we could do here? Let's go and just let this kind of play out. You would have, well, in all reality, this is the level here that it went after. And then you have the strong level back here. So you have kind of a strong level and a greedy level here. Even within that, you have a couple different types of levels, again, that we'll talk about further in butterfly effect. Let's just make sure this one's pinned properly here. 36.49, and that's the level that it goes to on the other exchanges, is 36.49. So we can go maybe to BTC USD perp. And the reason I'm going to the other exchanges is because in this moment when Bitcoin was dumping, this is BitMEX's chart. XBT is BitMEX, right? Or BXBT is also BitMEX. So these are BitMEX charts. But BitMEX, their service went down when this had happened. They had a freeze out on their service. So they shut their servers down because apparently they were having software issues. I call BS, but that's just, what I do. So then our level was, I think it was 36.50, if I remember correctly. So if we mark 36.50, that's that level, right? So you have the correct level there, and we can, so 36.49, and we can even look at this candle here at the top of the screen. The low of the candle was 36.21, and so we can simply go back to XBT here. You see your same two levels here, right? So you go back to the weekly chart, and you see your same two levels. You see a greedy and a strong level right there. So you see the strong level right here. That's going to cause the instant bounce. And you see the greedy level right here. That's going to kind of need to hold it over time. So at 36.63. So that's about $10 away from where it actually went to in the moment. So we can delete these ones. We can delete this one. We can leave that one. That's a level for the future for a specific reason. Actually, in the future, now this is not something I want you guys doing, but this just so happens to coincide with the correct level here. There's a different reason why this is the correct level. It's inside of these candles. It's something we'll cover in the future, right? But this is that same thing. This is that same strong reaction point, as if it were here, as if this was the inverse on the strong level, and then the greedy level would be up in here, right? You'd have some type of greedy level up in here. We could flip the chart and we would see the same thing. The strong level creating the big bounce off of this. So, and you look here and it's 11%. And actually the strong level ends up being a little further inside of here. So we end up going a little deeper into our charts and finding it. And what I'll do is I'll simply mark this right here because it's very close to this. I know where the level is. It's very close to that. So you can see that same type of reaction, right? You can see that same type of strong bounce. It's like an instant knife catch. I'm sure there's a very quick time frame in here where that happens, and actually exactly where it is, right? Because it's that same level. It's that same strong level. The actual level is right here. Is it here? No, it's this one, I believe. My chart's upside down, so I'm having a little trouble following it. Yeah, it's right here. So you can see this is that same thing, that strong reaction that you would expect. So once this level gets hit, you see that same 8% relatively quickly from April 6th at 1700 to April 10th at 1100. You see a very strong reaction. Even here within the first 1 hour candle here, you have a 3% move there. You have another 5% move there. And then you have a little bit of a ladder that gets created in this moment like this. So then you have a little bit of a ladder from here to here that gets created like so, or even here. Either one of these is fine. We don't have to be perfect right now for this example. We just need to show the trend. So you do have a trend that develops. And then so the same thing. So you're developing trend off of a strong level, right? So then you have your large reactions. Even inside of this whole marquee of moves here, we could simply go to the 4 hour and start looking for these levels. So there's nothing on the 4 hour. We can look at the 1 hour level here. You have nothing here. So we need to look at the 15-minute charts. We need to find these same levels, right? Like we need to find the same strong and greedy level. So this would be that strong level right here. Come on. That would be that strong level right there that's going to cause a big reaction. And this would be the greedy level that would need to hold through trend, right? So then we're gonna don't worry, we're gonna look at the greedy levels because we need to see some examples of those in play too, because we're looking at a lot of strong level reactions here. So now we can go back to a larger time frame chart and see greedy and strong holds once again being hit, right? The greediest point of the move is going to be the greedy level, and the strong level is going to be the red. But again, this is exactly what it is, right? These strong hold levels, they create these large bounce reactions, right? So we can just actually put our charts forward again, leave them honest and true, and not worry about them being inversed. And we can even do one more. We can even take this example one step further, and we can go like this. Strong level right here, greedy level right here. Strong versus greedy, right? So you see the instant reaction. So I think we've looked at enough strong examples, and I think it's become quite clear how these strong levels create those harsher reactions. Okay, so like we've seen this time after time after time again. We saw the first strong level right here, and it bounces there. Or actually, sorry, it was right here, and it had a couple 5% bounces. We see it right here, and it has a nasty 70% bounce. We even saw it in the local moments. We even saw it back here, right? And even though it hits this greedy level, but we even saw this being hit down here at the same in the same manner. So this is a pretty perfect example so far, because we've really been able to identify exactly what the strong and greedy hold levels look like and represent, right? So we're going to actually just undo that. We deleted too many lines. We're going to just go to here because I do want to keep a strong and greedy hold level. And now we're going to work those ones. Oh, too many we got rid of. Get rid of those ones. Get rid of those three. Perfect. And now we just have this one here. So strong and greedy. Let's work with that in some other context here so we can elaborate on the greedy hold levels. So really important. Just a quick recap on the strong hold level. You're always going to have a strong hold level and a greedy hold level in a move. So that's the thing. You're always going to have two different types of hold levels, okay? The strong is going to be the higher hold level that's going to create the bigger reaction based on the bigger time frame, okay? The greedy level is going to be the greediest price in the chart that tries to break a trend and has a reaction through trend. So almost as if greedy attacks trends, strong is a knife catch bounce that creates trends in the future. You can think of it like that. So maybe let's go to just some 1 hour levels here, and we're going to try to find something a little more local inside of this move. Don't know where my levels went. We're going to have to find them again. Okay, so we're going to just take these and we're just going to put them here and here, just so they're pinned to two candles. That's perfectly fine. And we are going to do something like this. That's perfectly fine. Maybe we're going to draw a daily trend. So I believe we have this to this right here. There's trend work that comes from the past, but I believe those 2 points, just if memory serves me correctly, are what ends up being the fork from up here, something like this, and so forth and so forth. And this ends up just being the local trend, and the global and the legacy trends are still there. We're just not drawing them because we don't have a use for them right now. So let's do this. We have our trend. We are going to find the strong and greedy levels in this trade, right? So your strong level would have been this one right here. If you knife catch bounce off this level, you're going to go up in a big way. Your greedy level would be down in here, right? There's a little bit of a valley down here that ends up being a greedy level, right? So you have, and it's actually pretty close to where I pinned it. It's actually right there. You can see the greedy level right there, the 15-minute level. This is going to attempt to hold through a trend, okay? So you're going to have to break a trend off of a greedy level. That's the way they work. So if you have, let's actually do the real trend work here. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take this and create this 4-hour point right here, this accumulation candle. And what we are going to do is we are going to create this right here. That would have hard closed to this candle right here. And we're going to move forward in time, and that would have hard closed to this candle right here. So this is very much what a greedy level is going to do. It is going to have to ladder up, just like we talked about. It is going to have to ladder up through trend to have its move. As to where the strong hold level, this is potentially creating that trend. You see how that works? So this strong hold level, it's very typical for a strong hold level to hit, bounces off, and kind of creates this moment of trend, right? And then it falls down, goes after the greedier level, and the greedier level is going to have to try to hold and create some kind of ladder through a trend. So we can go and look at that. Just like we talked about earlier, it's going to have to create its own little ladder through a trend. And so we'll be able to quickly see this ladder forming, right? Like we're going to be able to even just see this ladder forming here, right? So you have moves up through its range, starts creating its own hold levels right here, and that gets hit, and then it creates its next hold level like so, right here. That gets hit, right there, and that gets hit, and then it creates another hold level right here, and actually that one is right here. That's fine. We're just going to keep going. You know, it has another hold level here and another one here. So you can see where it's creating its ladder up through a trend. So that's the difference, right? That's the difference between these greedy and strong holds. When a greedy hold level gets hit, if it continues to ladder, it's setting up a bigger move because it's setting up trend breaks, okay? So let's take a look at that now. Let's go back to here to the 4 hour. And this is something that's more of a position trade as to where this is a knife catch, right? Like this just goes up and bounces and bang, it's gone. So we're just going to go back to this level here, analyze how long this trade happened off this greedy level and how much profits there were inside of it. Because that's an important thing to know, right? Give it a little bit of time here. That's good enough. So what are we on? 15-minute charts here. So from 23.45 to 3:30. So 4 hour trade, you know, your 7% profits. Exactly how the strong hold level is supposed to react. You're supposed to have a strong hold level. It's supposed to test it and it's supposed to bounce out of its mind. If this level can't hit, it's going to go after its greedy range, right? The greedy hold level. And if that greedy hold level can start to continue to make that ladder, it's going after trends to break trends. So now you can see how it's all starting to come together into fruition. And this strong hold level will have that initial bounce reaction, and it will create a trend point somewhere out here that you adapt to. And this greedy hold level will attempt to break that strong hold level's trend, right? So, you know, we can just maybe hit play here and let this play through for a second.